Hello everybody, this is RJ here. This is Push Airlines. Welcome to the channel. Guys, I also have another channel called Push Aviation. If you don't know about that, you can go to youtube.com/Push Aviation and it'll take you right to my webpage. I just want to say thank you to all the subscribers on both Push Aviation channel and here. I have 5 subscribers as of today, which is not a lot, but still, it's just the beginning. So thank you very much, guys, for being a part of this on both the channels. I really, really do appreciate it. Today's flight is going to take us from Sonoma County to Lincoln Airport. I just wanted to mention a couple of things as well. Um, I was upgrading my Prepare 3D version from 4.2 to 4.3. So I want to do a complete clean reinstall, and I deleted a couple of folders after um, uninstalling Prepare 3D 4.2, and by mistake I deleted the Just Flight folder as well, which had all my air hauler information. So unfortunately, I had to start another company again, and so I have to redo the video. Anyway, I wasn't that much into the. Uh, uh, I mean, it's not like I lost a lot. It was just I had done about 6 to 7 flights, and uh, I kind of lost all those 7 flights, but I'm very sure that I'll be able to recover that in no time. And now I know my mistakes, so I'm going to be a little bit more careful about it. But yeah, I have to redo the whole thing again. Um, I've already done the test flight. I've already got a greaser landing on that one, and I passed in flying colors. So today is the first cargo load that I'll be doing, and today's cargo load is going to be from Sonoma County to in Santa Rosa to Lincoln, just about 10 miles northwest of Beale Air Force Base, or about 20 nautical miles north of Sacramento Airport. Um, I just want to mention one more thing. On 4.3, I'm unable to install any of my FSX sceneries. I had a way to install it in a separate folder and just take the scenery FX folder and apply it accordingly. But unfortunately, I cannot do that. Excuse me. I cannot do that unfortunately, so I don't have any sceneries as of now. So I hope that's not a problem. And let's go ahead and just go for this flight, you guys. So I'll see you guys in the simulator in just a minute. Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel, guys. All right, so basically I'm going to be let's see here. So I'm sorry guys, let me get my words together. But anyway, I have my flight prepared here. So I'm going to be flying to Lincoln Airport. Oops, there's a pause for some reason. All right, I'm going to be flying nonstop to Lincoln Airport in California. And as of now, the aircraft is in a cold and dark state, and we have about half a tank of fuel per calculation. So the weight and balance is really good. We are a little heavy, however, so we're going to be taking a little bit more of the runway length. But as per calculation, we should be taking 1,354 feet for takeoff. So let's do a quick, thorough inspection of the aircraft as well, and let me handle it the way I usually handle in real life, or used to handle it in real life when I used to fly these airplanes. So the first thing is I'm going to go ahead and open up the cowl flaps to make sure the proper amount of ventilation is available, especially when the engines are hot when I turn on the aircraft. I'm also going to go ahead and turn the battery on to check for fuel, make sure that they're all good. I'm also going to turn on the strobe light, beacon, navigation, taxi light, and landing light. And I'm also going to go ahead and drop the flaps real quick here. I'm going to start taking a look at the outside of the aircraft really quickly. Let me get this here. So let me take a look at it. Hold on, you guys. So the lights, they all seem to be working well. The navigation lights are working, the landing lights are working, beacon is working, position light is working, and flaps look good too. But anyway, all the lights are working just fine. So I'll go ahead and turn off the lights here really quickly. Oops, come on. All right, there we go. Battery goes to off position. So we got all the information that we need. So let's do a exterior walk around the aircraft. So let me start right over here. Looking at the flap condition to make sure that the aircraft is okay here. Flap shouldn't have any. You're looking at some of the hinges. You just move it around a little bit to make sure it's working well. I'm also looking at the landing gear to make sure that everything is good, the air pressure is good, the tire doesn't have any bad spots or anything that shows cords or flat spots to a very big extent. You're making sure about that. I'm gonna go ahead and check the aileron as well, lift it up to make sure they all work correctly. And you can see these linkages here. You want to make sure that they're all connected accurately as well. So, oops, wrong one. Leading edge of the wings, everything looks good, clean, no damage or whatsoever. Same with the exhaust, nose gear is good, shimmy damper is good. Usually you stick your index finger, middle finger, ring finger, and the little finger. Put it all together here, and it should be more than that. It looks like it's more. You also check the oil from the top, where there's access to the oil. You just want to verify the oil level is good as well while you're doing that. Alright, I'm checking the condition of the propellers and the de-icing boots and the intakes as well, and also looking at this intake here, including the lights to make sure that there's no damage on there, and also looking at all this equipments here, but just the exhaust, making sure all the doors are closed, none of the screws or rivets or anything is damaged. So looking at the true air temperature probe to make sure that there's nothing blocking it, because it can cause false temperature indications if it's not correctly set. I'm also looking at the leading edge of the wings on the left hand side to make sure everything is working correctly. You can also move this read type stall indicator, which has like a little plate inside it, and you can move it up and down, which determines the the aircraft has gone to a stall or not. It's like a sensor. So I'm making sure about that, and also the pitot probe to make sure, or pitot tube to make sure that there's no blockage and it's working correctly as well. So let me go here. Oops. Let's take a look at the flaps to make sure that there's no damage. You just wiggle it around a little bit to make sure that you don't hear any cracking noise or anything unusual that could be a cause of concern. Same thing with the landing gear. You just want to verify the tire is in a good condition, the tire pressure is good, there's no unnecessary leakages found. And you also there's a squat switch too, which tells you if the landing gear is closed or in the open position, and you just look at that and make sure that it's uh, it's not damaged in any way, shape, or form as well. Um, so let's take a look at the fuselage itself. The static port has to be free from any blockages. This air inlet can also be used. It just helps put cold air into the cabin. So you just want to verify that there's no blockage. You want to check and make sure that the uh, the precision approach antennas like the ILS and glide slope antennas are good. Same thing with the VOR antennas here. This is number one and this is number two. So you just want to verify they're all in a good condition. You also want to verify that the horizontal stabilizer and the vertical stabilizer is good uh, as well while you're looking. And we can also go ahead and take a look at the elevator, the trim tabs, the rudder, and you can also take a look at the VOR and ILS antennas to make sure, including the navigation or the beacon lights as well. Make sure these linkages are all correctly uh, held in place, you know. Oops. Alright, I want to take a look at the static port here as well, just to make sure everything is in order. Same thing on the vertical stabilizer and the horizontal stabilizer. Just taking a look at the condition of the aircraft itself. That's about it, guys. So let's jump back into the cockpit. Let's close the door and do some of the checks on the inside of the aircraft. So in the inside of the aircraft, you want to verify that the airworthiness and registration documents are being displayed. Usually they're all kept inside, or there's like a pouch here, right in here, where you keep it. You also want to verify that the flight operating handbook is there. You can either call it the POH um, uh, or the or any sort of a operations manual like a FCOM or whatever it is. Uh, you just want to verify that. And today, since both tanks are the same amount of fuel, I'm going to use the right tank for departure today. Cowl flaps is in the open position. All switches are in the off position. Circuit breaker panel, all circuit breakers are in. And we can put the propeller RPM to high. And mixture and throttle is in the cutoff position. Landing gear lever is down. Parking brake is set and doors are closed and locked. Landing gear lever is in the down position, or I'm sorry, flaps is in the down position, landing gear lever is in the down position, and all electrical switches are in the off position. Ignition switch is in the off position. Alright guys, so everything looks good, so I'm gonna open up this little window here and I'm gonna turn the battery on, alternator comes on, um, navigation light comes on, beacon comes on, auxiliary fuel pump on. Now I'm gonna advance the mixture all the way. And now I'm gonna take a look at the fuel flow gauge here real quick. When I advance the throttle, you see the fuel flow gauge move. And it should not exceed 13 gallons. Here we have 12.5 at full throttle. So let's bring the throttle to idle, open 1/4 of an inch. And let's go ahead and turn off the auxiliary pump. And mixture to cut off. Clear prop. And left is clear, right is clear. So we are okay to start the engines. So I'm gonna go ahead and start the engines here. Make sure bring it all the way to rich. And then we can set the RPM just in a minute or so. As you can see, the RPM is a little below 1000 or 1000 RPM, so I'm gonna bring it back to 1000. That's a good setting right there. Before I lean in the mixture, I'm gonna get the avionics on. And today we're gonna be flying VFR, so squawk code is 1200. And I'm gonna start leaning the mixture till I see a drop in the RPM here, or you can look at the RPM drop here as well in that gauge. So I'm gonna look at the digital gauge to get accurate reading. There is a drop in the RPM, so I'm gonna just increase or richen the mixture just a little bit, and now we are ready to taxi. So this is a perfect way to tune. Anyway, let me take a look at the altimeter setting here. Okay, so wind is 130 at 5 knots, altimeter is 3004. So let me zoom in here real quick. There we go, altimeter setting is good. Alright, so the altimeter setting is good, and we're going to be using runway 14 for departure today. It's gonna be pretty fun. Alright you guys, so let's just taxi out here real quick. Let me get the taxi diagram. Alright, so parking brakes released. I'm gonna advance the throttle a little bit. At the same time, I'm also gonna go ahead and turn the taxi lights on. Guys, no scenery because for some reason it's not supported, so sorry guys, I'm working on my pedal skills a little bit. It just sticks on one side, so it's hard to taxi on this simulator. Taxiways are not named correctly, but let's take this one here and do the run-up. There's actually a run-up area right over here in real world, but it's not displayed correctly here. Let's go ahead and swing around to a heading of 130. Just stop right there. I couldn't quite get to 130 without crossing the line, so just gonna stay right here. Let's see, parking brake is set. Gonna close the window real quick. Taxi light turn off. Mixture is rich. I'm gonna set the heading to the runway heading, which is 140, and altimeter is set to ATIS, 75 feet within field elevation. So airspeed 0, miniature plane level and direct on the attitude indicator. We do have the altimeter set 75 feet within field elevation, vertical speed is 0. HSI is the heading is set for runway heading. Miniature plane is level and direct on the turn coordinator. The ball is in the center. Suction gauge is in the green. Engine instruments are in green. Fuel flow is good. RPM as required. I'm gonna usually leave it at around 1,000, but I'm gonna increase it in a second. And And let's go ahead and increase the RPM to 1800 RPM. Mixture is rich. Alright, there's our 1800 RPM. So I'm gonna go ahead and test the magnetos. I'm keeping an eye on the RPM also. Right magnetos test. There's about 25 RPM drop, which is very low, which is kind of weird, but in real world it would drop about 100, 75 to 100. Whereas same thing, about 25 RPM drop, so both. Let's cycle the propeller. One more time, and also get the flaps up. We don't need the flaps. The last time propeller RPM is high, that's good, everything looks good. So throttle goes back to 1000 RPM. Yeah, that's about right. And let's leave the mixture at rich because we're going to be departing anyways. And parking brake is released. Parking brake's released, and we are ready to go. So landing light comes on, strobe light comes on, and we can start the timer and assume that we've got the clearance for departure. So I'm gonna try and utilize as much runway as possible, you guys. Unfortunately, I didn't do that. But anyway, we got a lengthy runway here, so unless the engine fails, we're good. We only need about 1,400 feet for departure today, 1,354 feet. So let's go ahead and power up. Slowly. Suction gauge is in green, engine instruments are in green, full power. Little bit of right rudder there. Airspeed is alive. 60 knots, 70, 75, rotate. Positive rate, gear up. Airspeed going 100 knots, that's pretty good. Gonna go ahead and set the autopilot on, heading is on, altitude set. I'm gonna set the altitude to 1400 feet or 1300 feet till I get out of the traffic pattern altitude here. I'm gonna maintain that airspeed is fine. At 800 feet I'll start my turn to the left, 90 degrees to the left. There we go, crossed 1800 feet, so to a heading of 060. It's actually 050. Airspeed is good, so vertical speed I'd like to go up. Not right now. but 1500 feet is fine. So I'm gonna turn left 90 degrees more, which brings me to a heading of 320. At this point, I'll continue to climb just so I can, it's more safer that way, so I can gain that necessary altitude. And I'm going to fly ahead on a cruising altitude of 3,500 feet today. So now what I'm looking for now is the midfield. So once I beam the tower, I'm going to make a 45-degree turn to the right and continue my climb. So I'm about there right now, so I'm going to just turn right 45 degrees. My climb. I want my vertical speed to be 1,000 feet per minute. Because we gotta clear off those mountains there. So I'm gonna hold this heading for exactly 1 minute. And as you can see, 4 minutes and 30 seconds. So 5 minutes and 30 seconds. I'll get back on my course. Of changes here. Alright you guys, so let's take a look at the time. 5 minutes, we still have a few seconds left. Alright, so 5 minutes 30 seconds, so I'm gonna turn right to a heading of east to get back on my flight path, which is at 067 degrees. So I'm gonna fly heading off east a little bit till I see a visual reference and then go from there. So we're about 3,500 feet, so I'm gonna reduce my RPM a little bit to 2,500 RPM and manifold pressure to 25 inches of mercury. I'm also gonna reduce the mixture a little bit, I don't have to fly it rich. There is that drop in the RPM coming up, so that should be good. So I'm going to leave my mixture right there. I'm going to fly this heading for just a few minutes and then get back on my course. And I'm also going to go ahead and turn off my landing light first. Also get the cowl flaps up. Okay, so this is I think it's called I forgot the name of the city. It's some some Toga is the name. It ends with Toga, so I already got a visual reference. So what I will do is I know exactly where I need to be heading at this point in time. So I'm going to turn left to a heading of 060 or 065, whatever is the heading. It's a good idea to climb a little bit more. Oops, not the heading climb. 5,500 feet is a good idea to do. I'm gonna go ahead and open up the cowl flaps again. Alright, you guys, so this lake here is called Lake Beressa. This is used as a visual reference point. We should be crossing, there's an island in this lake, so we should be just north of the island. As long as we are north of the island, we're good. So 1,000 feet to go, 1,100 feet to go. Take a look at the mixture and see if we can lean it a little bit more here as we're climbing. I'm leaning the mixture as we speak. There is a little flutter. See how the RPM noise changed? So I'm gonna go ahead and increase the mixture just to give the RPM or enough RPM for the engine to run. So we can maintain 25 inches of mercury, so I'm gonna power it up a little bit. And 2500 RPM as well. 057, you guys. 057. $500 feet, 400 feet to go. That's the island right there. So we're on the north of the island, which is, this heading is pretty good to maintain. Alright you guys, so we got 55 nautical miles to go. Guys, once I cross Lake Beressa, what I'm looking for is Interstate 505, Interstate 5, and also Interstate 80. They kind of make like a triangular shape, and you're gonna see in just a minute once we cross those mountains here. And I'm looking for that because you want to be just a little bit north of the peak of the triangle. So, but the heading that we're flying right now is perfect. We're getting a little bit of wind from the left as well, so it's pretty good. 48 miles to go, you guys. It's gonna take us 17 minutes to get there. That was the island I was talking about earlier with you guys. So as long as we're on the north side of the island, we're good. In fact, there should be a small airport as well. So, I don't know if it's I can't remember if we can see that airport or not, but I'm pretty sure we can see it. Just wanna, I don't know. So next, what we're looking for is Interstate 5, 505, and Interstate 80. They form a triangular shape, so that's what I'm looking for next. Actually, I can get some more airspeed by closing on the cowl flaps. Just a little bit more improvement in the airspeed. Maybe not. A big visual cue too. This is really a good landmark. Verify that this is, you're always in the south of this, because if you cross north of this, you're getting into Reading Airport and things just a little bit north of Sacramento, so really you don't want to cross those mountains. Once again, guys, I'm looking for Highway 505, or Interstate 505, Interstate 80, and Interstate 5. They make a triangular shape, so I'm looking for the interstates. There is one interstate right there. This one here, I don't know if you guys can see, but it looks like an interstate, but I'm not too sure. So I'm gonna count it as that. There's one right here. So So that's Highway 505. So that's Interstate 505, and 80 should be somewhere. Look at yeah, this is 505. This one looks very clear. Yep, this is Highway 505 here. Hard to see Interstate 80. So if you look at the left-hand side, alright, there's Interstate 505. Interstate 5 should join this too. See, can you see this? This is Interstate 5. So it forms a triangle right here. And Interstate 80 joins on the other side. Actually, a little bit of a distance from there. This is Vacaville Airport right there. So I know exactly where we are. So this is 505. This is 5. So I'm going to continue that heading. And in a few minutes, I should be able to see Sacramento Executive Airport. Actually, at this point, it's actually a good point to descend to 1,300 feet, which is a traffic pattern altitude. We really don't have many obstacles, so I'm going to go ahead and descend at 500 feet per minute, and that should do it. And I'm also keeping an eye on the airspeed, so I'm going to reduce my manifold pressure to 2,000, or actually 22 is good, and leave the RPM at 25. Once I go below 3,200 feet, I'm going to go ahead and advance my mixture all the way. So I should see Sacramento International Airport on my right hand side, and also, so there's Sacramento International Airport right there. We should also see McCollin Air Force Base as we pass along. Interstate 5 right there. Perfect. So this is Sacramento International. Actually, that is probably McCollin Air Force Base, because Sacramento International is right off of Highway 5. See, Highway 5 also curves here and goes straight. So yeah, that is Sacramento International. Now we can start looking for Lincoln Airport at this point in time. It should be coming up pretty soon, so. I'll go ahead and advance the mixture all the way to Rich. And I should have Lincoln Airport inside any minute now. "16 nautical miles to go. It's going to take us 5 minutes to get there. Our airspeed is in the yellow arc right now, which is not too good. Reduce the RPM to 2200 to just make sure we get rid of that excess speed. And I'm also going to go ahead and turn on the landing lights for arrival. Mixture is rich. The airport here, right over here. So I'm coming a little bit into the south. So what I will do is I'll just turn my heading to a heading of 03. Actually, that's a little too much. So yeah, it's a little too much. 040 will do just fine. Airport, I think. I'm gonna go ahead and reduce the throttle down to 2000 RPM just so we can reduce our airspeed a little bit. So I'll go a little bit north and kind of like align to that building right there. And do a left traffic pattern for runway 33. Buildings I want to aim to, so that will give me a good 45-degree angle. So I'm just going to go a little bit more further down and kind of aim towards this building right here. Actually, that should be good, so I'm going to go ahead and turn right. Throttle down to 15. Get that speed a little bit better. There we go. That's a perfect angle. So I'm at a 45-degree angle, and I'm gonna be landing on this side of the runway. So 1,300 feet is good. I'm at a point where I can drop the gear. I'm gonna turn downwind. 150 degrees. Kind of flying parallel to the runway as well. Once I reach the 1,000-foot marker, I'll put one notch of flaps down. Oops. And get my... There we go. I'm gonna put another one notch of flaps down here. And the autopilot should control it, for some reason it doesn't. Anyway, I'm gonna increase my airspeed a little bit more. Usually what you do is you look at a 45-degree angle and turn in. I want to extend my downwind because I want to have a very relaxed approach. So airspeed is good, 90 knots is good at this point in time. So I'm going to continue to extend my downwind a little bit more of power. My altitude to be 1,100 feet as well. 1,800 RPM is good. Should be a pretty good extension. So let me go ahead and turn left to a heading of 060. Final flaps down. Make sure your airspeed is above 80 knots though. And I'm gonna turn left to a heading of the runway heading, which is 330. Overshot the runway a little bit, but yep, I did overshoot the runway. I'm perfect on altitude. I'm gonna go ahead and disengage the autopilot at this time. like to come in nice and high. 80 knots is good to maintain at this point of time. I'm a little above 90 knots, which is, or 80 knots, that's pretty good. Make sure your mixture is good, undercarriage is down, flaps as required, landing checklist is complete. I'm getting a little bit of crosswind from the left, so I may have to use a little bit of right rudder when we approach. It's always good to come in nice and high, a little bit higher. Always aim for that 1,000-foot marker when you land as well. See, 90 knots is a little too much of an airspeed, especially at this part of the flight.
500.
Let's go ahead and throttle down a little bit. So we're closer to 80 knots as much as possible. That's a good airspeed too. 80 knots is pretty good. And we want to make sure that we touch down at the 1,000-foot marker. See, we're nice and high, coming in slow and steady. That's pretty good. 80 knots on the airspeed, perfect. On glide slope, we know that we're gonna make it to the runway no matter what. So now
100.
It's time to aim for the 1,000-foot marker for touchdown.
50, 40, 30, 20.
I'm gonna hold that flare right there. Wanna throttle to idle. I wanna touch down at the 1,000-foot marker. Oh, touchdown already, but it's fine. And just let it roll down the runway. I'm gonna just get the flaps up as well. Just had the touchdown prior to the 1,000-foot marker, which was but that's okay. Alright, so $12,000 to our pocket today, so we're done. And once I get to, just gonna reduce my mixture a little bit. Having a little hard time here to taxi for some reason. Water is a little too sensitive. Ground speed is 23 knots, and that's why. There we go. That should be a speed at which we taxi. That's about 7 knots right there. No wonder I'm having difficulty maneuvering. Go in front of those hangars there, the big ones, and I'm just gonna park it over there. Call it a night. That's gonna take us to spot number 2. so we have arrived. So parking brake is set. We can turn off the taxi lights here. The avionics comes off. Mixture to cut off. Beacon is off. Navigation lights off. Ignition off. Alternator off. Battery off. There we go, you guys. And lastly, if you want, you can also take this to off the fuel. Oops. Oh, it either goes to the left tank or the right tank. Very hard to bring it back up. Okay, so that's done. So I'm gonna go ahead and unload the cargo here really quickly. Everything is good. Okay, finish flight monitoring, and that gave me 33 minutes, and that's another greaser landing added to my uh, list. So if you look at the company information, go to info. My reputation has gone up by 1%, and also if you look at the finances, it's gone up by $12,000. Um, you can also check that by looking at the ledger here, which tells you $12,000 is added $12,540. And lastly, I'd like to take a look at my logbook, which is 44 minutes of flight time and 2 greaser landings. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys have any questions, comments, suggestions, requests, please leave a comment in the comment section below. And I'm going to see you guys on my next video. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel already, please hit that subscribe button. And please do not forget to hit that like button. See you guys on my next one.